Coming up on Bloom, meet the parenting guru who created a space where moms and dads can have real talk.
And I wanted to connect with people. I wanted to hear real stories of challenge, struggle, what is happening behind closed doors.
And how a premier school is helping students succeed.
Students come to us with difficulties with reading, writing, and spelling.
Plus, how former Buccaneer Dexter Jackson and Buckified Bert are supporting outstanding students. We'll have all that and more as Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, starts now. I'm Gayle Guyardo. Welcome to Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. Parenting doesn't come with a handbook, but now there's a community where you can connect with others on a parenting journey. The Parenthood podcast, hosted by Leonie Aquitador, is a place where moms and dads have a platform for some real talk when it comes to raising kids. And the conversations run deep, from dealing with pre- and postnatal depression to moms and dads losing their sex drives after having kids. There's a lot of topics to explore. Leonie shares her advice on a range of topics, including how she sets her day up for success with the kids.
I wake up deliberately early at 5 a.m. and then look, but regardless, my kids are up probably an hour to an hour and a half later. Yeah. I feel as though when my children walk down those stairs, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for you now.
Let's do this.
Let's go. I'm into battle. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Yeah. I'm like, what do you got? Like, I'm prepared. I've got my to-do list because I'm a big, everyone's asking, how do you juggle it? I'm a big to-do list kind of gal. So I'll often go, these are my 3 priorities for the day, try to tackle those. If I don't do that, I find I'm waking up with the wave of chaos that it is. And I'm just kind of floating through the day and kind of going, what just happened? So I set myself, my morning is kind of everything for me.
Joining me now with more on all things parenting is the parenting guru, Leonie Aquitador. It's so great to have you on Bloom.
Thank you so much for having me.
So how did you come up with this cool platform idea where parents can really listen to some real talk?
Yeah, look, fundamentally, I'd been going through a really tough time in life. I had experienced pre- and postnatal depression for the second time. It was COVID. In Melbourne, Australia, where I'm from, we were locked down for what felt like a whole year. And we weren't even allowed to leave sort of our neighbourhood. It was very stringent. And I felt so alone in my experience. I had an 18-month-old son as well as my newborn. And I wanted to connect with people. I wanted to hear real stories of challenge, struggle, what is happening behind closed doors, so that I can feel less alone in my experience, but also so that I could potentially learn from their lessons as well.
And I think back, because my daughters are much older now, but with my now 24-year-old, I had some severe, postpartum depression, because I was in the hospital with her 3 months leading up to her delivery. And, back then there was nobody really to share your concerns with. You were almost embarrassed to even talk to your own doctor, because you're like, here I have this healthy baby girl who's a gift from God, and I'm depressed, and I felt so guilty about that. But you get on a platform like yours and you realize, hey, I'm not alone.
Exactly right. And I think that's what gives so many people comfort. And for me, I guess a point of difference for us too was I wanted to bring couples on the show. So there's amazing platforms out there, lots of them for mothers, a few for dads, and I'm talking more about the Australian market, but less where they're bringing on couples, same sex or heterosexual or whatever, and we're sitting down and we're really talking about the things that matter and the things that we are stressed about. And obviously it goes without saying, parenting is the most beautiful experience, but it is important to bring some of the shadow side of parenting to light.
Yeah, and it is a lot to juggle, and it can really wreak havoc on your mental health. Is that something that you guys talk a lot about?
Absolutely, and we really go down to, okay, well, what is it the guest might be feeling? What are some of the symptoms? And so let's break that down. What does that look like? So that those listening can sort of sit back and go, oh, that could be me, or that could be my friend, or these are things we can be looking out for, because this is stuff that happens, again, to your point, that people don't talk enough about.
And I know when you have partners on the show, another big subject that is brought to light is the fact that your love life and your time together kind of goes out the window.
Exactly. Lack of intimacy, particularly in the early years of parenting, is a very big topic. We've had over 140 episodes of our podcast, and I've spoken to hundreds of parents during that time. It always comes up. So I feel it's so critical to bring that discussion to light so that couples out there are realizing that it's not just me, and okay, what can we do about it to reignite the flame?
Yeah, and so what are some of the advice that you're getting from your experts or you're sharing with parents?
Absolutely. So look, first and foremost, particularly as women, we need to feel emotionally connected before being able to really give. And often in those early years of parenting, we are just so flooded. We have nothing left to give because baby's up top or children's are up top, and then all the other responsibilities, and then relationships sit sort of here, and then we sit down the bottom. So if we're not allocating time for ourselves, even if it's a 15-minute, sit outside, read a book in the sun, if that's what lights you up. If we're not allocating time for ourselves, it's very hard to then give to others. Once we've allocated that time to ourselves, it's also deliberately prioritizing time as a couple. So saying, once a month or once every 6 weeks, we're going to have our little date night without the children, without all that interruption, the two of us. It's our opportunity to reconnect. That is critical also.
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do, especially in the early days of parenting, is to put your relationship on the back burner, because oftentimes then it just stays there.
And it becomes habitual. Those behaviours, we could sort of call it the roommate philosophy. You're just passing ships, and the lack of intimacy, and it can be as small as just you forget to do the kiss hello or the kiss goodbye, or touching that other person as you walk past them in the kitchen. Often we don't even do these little things because we are so touched out by our children. Prior to having babies, who did we give all of our touch to? Our partners. And then we have children who are hanging off us. Our bodies have changed, perhaps, if we're female, and all the things. You're sleep deprived and everything like that. And you're just like, you look at your partner and you say, don't breathe, don't touch me.
Right.
Like I'm done, I'm tapped out. So sometimes we have to be quite deliberate about these acts of affection so that we can start building intimacy up again.
Do you hope that your podcast also can help people just start bridging those lines of communication?
Absolutely. And we really do encourage, let's talk about things rather than let resentment build, which can often happen. Particularly, we see it, for example, with inequality in the household duties. So one parent, on average, mother, I'm going to generalise here, feels as though that she's had to bear the brunt of the responsibilities when it comes to the mental load, all the things we have to remember, who's going to book the immunisation, who's going to do the drop-offs and pick-ups and organise all of that, like the daily tasks. And so what often happens is when that inequality breeds, one partner starts feeling resentful, the other partner starts experiencing a level of passive aggressiveness and goes, what's just happened to our relationship? And no one's talking about it. And then you let it go, and eventually, like what happened with me, you have an argument over absolutely nothing. Like, you put the coffee cup in the wrong spot and that person explodes because you haven't spoken about the fundamental issue. Perhaps it's inequality, for example. So critical. We bring a lot of these stories to light so that others can sit there thinking, oh yeah, me too. And okay, that's how they approached that conversation. Perhaps I can consider approaching that conversation in my household as well.
Does conflict resolution actually happen real time on the show? I mean, do people really open up and share their feelings?
We do, and look, I think it's a premise of being on the show, you have to have an element of vulnerability. That's what the premise of the show is. That's how we really give back to our community. So I know that a few times we've had, like, for example, a couple who said, I was really, footloose and fancy free, and there was a mum and the dad was there, and he said, yeah, but ever since, having baby, we need to get organised. And she said, yeah, but sometimes, like, you're just too on the schedule. And he's like, yeah, but if we don't do that, we're going to miss out on all the things we have to do. Time,
right.
Time is ticking. And then he's sort of like, often you think I'm coming at you or attacking you. I'm not. I'm just trying to work out the best way to manage this family.
Yeah.
And it sort of started intensifying a little bit. And I was like,
but hey, that's how you lay it out there and get things solved solved. All right.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Well, we're going to share this story on bloomtampabay.com. And we are thrilled that Leonie joined us on our podcast, The Bloom Health Club, in the WFLA Now Streaming Center to continue this incredible conversation. You can stream the full episode anytime on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom. Some people are spending their summer making the world a better place to live through faith. Joining me now from First Pres Tampa is Reverend Kathy Connor, who leads a church dedicated to giving back year-round. It is so great to see you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Gayle. I love being with you.
Oh, I love having you on Bloom because you really talk about how your parishioners and what a great opportunity it is for folks to use their faith in a real way of giving back, not just sitting in church every Sunday, which is important, but how are you using that day in and day out?
Well, thank you so much. And it's true, there's this great proverb in the Old Testament that says, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. And the truth is, our own heart gets set on fire and energized when we give ourselves away to ameliorate a human hurt or need. And that's what's happening in our church. That's what people are excited to be a part of.
And I know one of your big missions is to help the unsheltered in the downtown region. And I sat through one of your services where a team leader got up and spoke, and it was amazing to me the synergy that has been created between your church, you know, charitable, a huge charitable institution, and even the city welcoming your help.
Yes, when we were located in downtown Tampa, it became very clear to us that the unsheltered around downtown needed help. And so along with other churches, we realized we were also duplicating efforts. So we came together and founded Metropolitan Ministries. But what's beautiful is that Met Men then came back and said, we still need you all in a very active way, and we all began to partner with Met Men to then offer services on location. Because if you try to do all of that in one spot, it won't work. But if we can divide and conquer, it will. And so we began this robust ministry that we called Matthew 25. And now we're in 2 locations in Ybor City, partnering with Catholic Charities Tampa Hope. And then we remain committed to the downtown unsheltered who just aren't able to get on their feet enough to even get job training. They just can't put it together enough. So we don't want to leave them behind. So we meet them on Saturday mornings at 275 and Franklin Street with a very rich, vital ministry there with food and social services and all kinds of love and care.
Which is so important because it's interesting. I was just talking about First Pres and your mission. A lot of people wonder, like, homeless situations get out of control in other cities. Yet when you can create this partnership, and really through faith, it's amazing what can be done to help those in need.
Absolutely. And what I especially love is just churches throughout Tampa Bay and schools have all just come on board. And so on any given Saturday morning, though this is a ministry we launched, it's tons of us gathering around to care for people with warmth and hospitality, to look them in the eyes and greet them like you are our guests and you have not been forgotten. And that's critically important to a human being's sense of dignity and respect, to know that they are treasured and loved.
And another really important mission that you've been at the helm of for many, many years is in the fight against human trafficking. And you opened up Created Place, and you and your volunteers do so much in that realm as well.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be the board chair for Created, and clearly we want to reach women who are being exploited and trafficked in the sex industry. And we want them to know that as a community, they will be known and seen and heard, because right now they're in the shadows. And so we want to be able to communicate the love and care of God to them, but also give them a path where they get to start over fresh. And so the community can do that by going to createdwomen.org, and we're looking for fresh, brand new towels to give them not only a fresh shower, but a fresh life start. We're looking for street-worthy clothing for them. All of these things communicate that they have not been forgotten either.
And you know, Sheriff Chad Chronister was sitting in that very same chair that you're sitting in now, and he said that they wouldn't be able to do their jobs without organizations like Created, because they can go arrest people all day long. But if there's nobody there welcoming these victims and soon-to-be survivors with open arms, then they're right back on the street again.
Exactly.
And so this is another prime example about how you use faith and volunteerism and these organizations with a synergy that makes it happen with the city leaders.
It does, and Sheriff Chronister has been an amazing partner because he gets it. These women are victims, and it does no good to just keep arresting them. But what he's looking for is that one day they'll get the courage to name the perpetrator. Then he can go after who's really making all this happen. But we want volunteers for Friday night outreaches to clubs. You've been with me before. We're looking for people that will do street outreach to women who are just simply living on the streets. We want them to know that there is a way out and that they have value and dignity.
Well, I think it's incredible what you're doing at First Pres. I know that these volunteer opportunities not only give folks the opportunity to give back, but also to become part of like-minded people that are making a tremendous difference in the Tampa Bay area.
Thank you. And one thing I also want to make sure I mention with our Matthew 25 outreach is that we're looking for bicycles that we can refurbish and give to men and women who have found jobs but don't have transportation to get there. And we have a long waiting list of people that are ready for that bicycle so that they can be a waiter at that restaurant or serve at a construction site. It's just rich what a bicycle can do.
Unbelievable.
So,
thank you so much, Kathy. It's such a pleasure to see you
Thank you.
always. And we're going to share this story on bloomtampabay.com so you can find out how to get involved. And coming up, find out more about a premier school in Tampa Bay helping children struggling with reading, writing, and spelling. We'll tell you more about it when Bloom returns. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom, one of the premier schools for children struggling with reading, writing, and spelling is right here in Tampa Bay. Joining me now from the Roberts Academy is the head of school, Dr. Kim Kelly, and Vice President of Academic Affairs at Florida Southern College, and Drs. Hal and Marjorie Roberts, Endowed Chair in Learning and Literacy, Dr. Tracy Tedder. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
So ladies, let's talk about a big event that is a fundraiser every year that you guys do. It's called the Mother's Day Dinner Event. And I had the incredible opportunity to be there with the Bush twins, which was so exciting. And it's amazing the support that the Roberts Academy receives.
Yes. That is a wonderful annual event that we host at Florida Southern College, where we have had phenomenal speakers to talk about dyslexia and our program and really bring greater awareness of dyslexia to our community.
And let's talk about the Roberts Academy. It's a real gem right here in the Tampa Bay area, nestled in Florida Southern College, which is, I know, the oldest private university in the state of Florida. So it's beautiful. I had the chance to go to the campus and see a little bit of the layout, and what a gift to the community.
Oh, absolutely. We have started with 2nd through 8th. Well, we started with 2nd through 5th, and now we just adding 1st grade this year, and we're up to 8th grade. So that's very exciting for us.
And really, families from all over the country will move here to be close to the school because it has that great of an impact. So can you tell me about what makes the learning style different and so supportive for children with this kind of learning disability?
We implement a multisensory approach to teaching reading, which has really made a phenomenal impact upon thousands of children now who have enrolled at the Roberts Academy, and we've had families who have traveled from near and far to be a part of our program from across the United States just to attend Florida Southern College. And we are so privileged to have such a wonderful program in our community, made possible by Drs. Hal and Marjorie Roberts so many years ago now. We are so very blessed at the institution to be able to have such a program, and for our reputation to have traveled as far across the world. We've had families to relocate to Lakeland to be a part of our program.
Yeah, it's really, the founders are true trailblazers in this field. And I didn't realize that dyslexia, it comes in many different forms, you know, so can you kind of describe to me the struggles that some of the students face, you know, as they enter Roberts Academy, and what they're hoping, you know, to achieve by attending such a prestigious school?
Sure. So our students come to us with difficulties with reading, writing, and spelling, and a lot of them are feeling very defeated when they come to us, and within a very short amount of time, with us using the multisensory approach that we use, our students start feeling success very quickly with using the phonetics and phonics and learning the rules as the English language has, that our kids are able to unlock those things that are confusing for them, and they start being able to read, write, and spell successfully.
Now, do you think that there are children that fall through the cracks that are never properly diagnosed with dyslexia? I mean, what should parents be on the lookout for, you know, to think, hey, maybe I could use help from a school like Roberts Academy?
Early intervention is key. We encourage families who inquire or apply or just consult with us along the way that as soon as they know there is a struggle, to begin seeking those solutions so that the student can learn the interventions and be under the class environment, the teaching and instructional methodologies that will best help them along the way.
Yeah, and then by going to Roberts Academy, all of these students kind of have a new lease on life when it comes to learning and propelling forward in life, because if left, you know, just to struggle through school, yeah, you do kind of fall by the wayside, but this is putting kids mainstream, right?
Oh yes, oh yes. So we are to the point where we're full circle. We have students that have attended the Roberts Academy that are now college students at Florida Southern College. We have a couple that are being education majors, so we're very excited about that. And they were students at the Roberts Academy in their elementary years.
And that is so cool. So
Yes.
could they soon be educators, are you saying, at the Roberts Academy, or they already are?
They're not. They're
Okay,
college
they're
students.
okay.
But they could be, yes.
That is really, really exciting. And it does take a special type of educator to work with these kids, and you guys have some of the best in the industry.
We do. Our teachers are second to none, and they actually work through a training, high-level training and workshops where for many, many years they are in pursuit of the next level of advanced training so that they can properly work with students and really know how to assist them and support them so that they can achieve great success.
Well, I know this incredible formula for learning is being adopted by other prestigious universities across the country, so we'll see more Roberts Academies opening their doors, but the original right here in Lakeland, Florida, and it was just such a pleasure to get to know more about your school and to attend such a special event. So thanks again for including me.
Thank you.
All right, if you would like to find out more about the Roberts Academy, head to bloomtampabay.com, and we'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by Advent Health.
Welcome back to Bloom. Better heart health starts with understanding and lowering your risk of heart disease. Joining me now is clinical lipid specialist Jean Wallner with Advent Health to share how her team can help you manage your heart with comprehensive, compassionate care. Welcome to Bloom.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So tell me a little bit about the role that you play at Advent Health.
So kind of as you mentioned, I am a clinical cardiology PA, physician assistant for over 20 years. I'm also a clinical lipid specialist, and I have a lipid clinic at Advent Health. I see patients in the hospital, in the office. I can also do telehealth visits. Usually I practice and stress in my practice preventative medicine with risk stratification for coronary artery disease.
Which is so very important. What are some of the conditions that you treat?
So the conditions that we treat are high cholesterol or abnormal cholesterol triglyceride levels. It's not limited to, but includes high total cholesterol, high LDL, high triglycerides. We also treat genetic disorders, fatty liver, statin intolerance, abnormal CT calcium scores. Also, we treat preventative type risk factors. So if you're someone who's diabetic or has HIV and chronic kidney disease with a little elevated triglyceride or LDL, and you're unsure of what medicines may interact with other medicines, I'm also happy to see those patients. I take each patient individually and risk stratify them so that I can help improve their risks for coronary artery disease, improve their health and longevity.
Guys, this is a really incredible approach to medicine. Now, what are the most common misconceptions about cholesterol and lipid management that you encounter in your practice, and then how do you address those?
So the most common misconception, I would say, is that cholesterol can be too low. Your LDL can never ever be too low. The lower the better. Your brain makes its own cholesterol, so brain does not cross the blood-brain barrier, so there's no cognitive deficits if your cholesterol drops too low. Also, your cells are constantly making cholesterol, so you need cholesterol for sex hormones, for cell membranes. But what we're getting rid of is the excess cholesterol that's floating through your bloodstream.
Very interesting. Now, I thought it was very interesting and also like a holistic approach that you do help people at the preventative level. So what are some of the ways that you guide your patients?
So the number one way that I guide my patients is to help them with diet, exercise, lifestyle modifications. I'll spend extensive amount of time reviewing their diets of what they eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We'll discuss exercise. Usually the exercise that we recommend is vigorous exercise for 2.5 hours per week. So vigorous exercise is classified as exercise that's difficult to speak as you're doing the activity. We recommend 30 minutes 5 times a week or 40 minutes 3 to 4 times a week with some weight-bearing exercises 2 days a week.
This is really great. And then I know that when you go back and check those numbers, they probably look a lot better. So what a great approach to medicine.
They do. Also, we spend a lot of time with diet and looking at a whole food plant-based diet that will really help extend your life, decrease inflammatory process. So we spend a lot of time with that. I'm happy to send referrals out to cardiologists for invasive workup if needed, to send to dietitians so we can really help manage their risk and help them obtain a great quality of
life,
personal whole care. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been fascinating to hear. And remember, preventative care starts with you. Visit adventhealth.com for more information. And we're so excited to partner with Advent Health and our Bloom Health Expo Saturday, July 13th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. inside the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Advent Health Training Center. We hope to see you there. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by Advent Health.
You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We begin where your checkup ends. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom. For many, the lazy days this summer are actually an opportunity to give back and make a difference. And a Bay Area rescue depends on the helping hands of others. Joining me now is Max and Me pet rescue volunteer Corinne Sanzone and London. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much, Gayle, for letting us share London on his TV debut today.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about him.
So London is just a puppy. He's 12 weeks old, and he was born with 2 paws on 1 leg. And they were actually going to euthanize him. So volunteers stepped in. You know, we always say this: see something, say something, do something.
Right.
And so the community stepped in. He wants to run. He
Yeah.
just now, and the community stepped in and saved him. And we had volunteers that transported. We had volunteers that fostered. And we were able to do a clean amputation. And now you can see he wants to run and have a great time.
If he wants to take off running, I can help facilitate that.
Okay, let's go,
All right,
little
let's
guy.
see. You can see little guy. Come here, you big boy. All right, let's see. See if he wants to go. He's going to take off. He's done with his TV close-up. He runs really well, I got to say.
He runs great, right?
He just took off running. And he does well. And his little girlfriend, Minnie, is here as well. She's off camera, and I think the two of them wanted to be together. But summer is a great opportunity for people to get to know nonprofits like yours.
It is. You know, we love summertime. In fact, the volunteers that are here offset, they're actually a teacher and her family. And so summertime is a great opportunity for them to foster pets for us. So normally she wouldn't be able to be here today, or her daughter, but because it's summertime, they're able to be here.
So tell me a little bit about how your nonprofit got started.
So we started 10 years ago, and it was, our founder is Leah Haverstock, and it started because her pup that she had adopted from another rescue had passed away.
And so today you guys have dogs up for adoption. You have dogs that could go into foster programs. Tell me a little bit more about how people can get hands-on with you.
So great ways to get involved is one, again, see something, say something, do something. If you see a dog struggling in the community, if you see someone, maybe a senior that needs some help with one of their pets, step in and help, right? Reach out to us, or there's so many other great organizations here in Tampa Bay that need volunteers, not just us, right? So you reach out, you do your research, and you can volunteer with multiple organizations. You know, there are big organizations that have great funding, and then there's little organizations of just like, we're just a group of 3 chicks trying to make a difference. We're all volunteers, and then we have this amazing support system. So people can go on maxandme.org. They can follow us on social. It's MAXX, right? Max and Me, and follow us on social and plug in. Maybe you want to help do transport and take a pet to their vet visits and just love on them. We have dogs in boarding right now. The shelters just had a big outbreak. They couldn't take any dogs in. So the small rescues all stepped up to try and save as many dogs as we possibly could. And so that means lots of vet visits and lots of transport. So if you can't actually adopt a dog or foster a dog, you can transport. You can go to boarding. We have dogs in boarding right now because we're looking for fosters, and you can go and take a dog out for a day, take it for a bath, take it to a restaurant and have lunch and just love on it, right? And just make a difference.
Well, I think it's really cool. And the whole show today is dedicated to people like yourselves, you know, that are doing everything that they can just to try to make the world a better place to live. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And you can find out more about Max and Me on bloomtampabay.com. And when we come back, Tampa Bay's Hall of Fame Buccaneers fan Buckified Bert is sharing more about his mission to make the world a better place through a scholarship program. But first, it's time for today's Bloom Trivia question. Which state boasts the highest rate of volunteer participation? Tennessee, Florida, Minnesota, or Utah? We'll have the answer later on Bloom. Welcome back to Bloom. We continue to spotlight people and places that make the world a better place to live. And Hall of Fame Buccaneers superfan Buckified Bert dedicates his life to doing just that through his Olay is Alive Dream Seekers Scholarship Program. Joining us now is Albert Owens, fondly known as Buckified, and his latest scholarship recipient, Katie Riley. Thank you both for being here. Welcome to Bloom.
Thank you for having us today.
Thank you for having us, Gayle.
Absolutely. And Katie, congratulations. You are the latest recipient. How does that make you feel?
So excited. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Buckified, this is the 20th year. It's hard to believe that the Olay is Alive Dream Seeker Scholarship Program has been going 20 years strong now.
And I'm so excited because I know when I was secretly trying to leave this world, because losing my mom was a very difficult thing, because it was January the 1st, 2004. And but I told her I would help the next generation, and I had to snap out of it. And some way, spiritually, she jumped in and helped me navigate to now, 20 years and 19th scholarship recipient.
Yeah, it is unbelievable what you've done in honor of your mother. I know she's smiling down on you right now because you've helped so many young lives. And I just want to review the Buckified acronym. Be understanding citizens and identify friendly individuals every day. And Katie, I know that that is something that's very important to you as well.
Yes, it is.
Why is that?
Because it helps keep you safe and it helps you find good people in your life.
And that too, it's all about that energy. When you put that energy out there, many times that's what you receive in return. How did you come up with the acronym Buckified, and why is it so important to you?
Well, my mom had a simplified version of it when I was growing up. She was like, don't let nobody make a monkey out of you. And then she also said, don't act like no monkey either. So because she said those things, I just had to modernize it by making it a little complicated for Katie to remember the acronym and use it and apply it, because it got more substance to it now. Because there's a combination of growing up in the Tampa Bay area combined with over 30 years working at the TV station. It's constantly changing for the better.
That's awesome. And Katie, I know that you and Buckified attended a game. I've had that experience myself, and it's really, you get like VIP status because this guy's like a rock star in the stadium. But what was it like going to a game with Buckified?
Yes. It was my first game and I had a blast.
You did? That's so awesome. Well, guess what? We have a special surprise. I mean, because Buckified is the king of pulling strings and making things happen all over Tampa Bay. He could be like the mayor. You brought in someone special to present the scholarship dollars today.
Oh my God! Somebody that was most valuable player to the first Super Bowl we ever had here in the Tampa Bay area, and his name is Dexter Jackson, number 34. And 34th year of Buckified being at WFLA TV, and I'm so glad Dexter is in the house to make the presentation for Katie Riley.
All right, and he is coming in. Dexter, we're so excited to have you as part of the big presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's good to be here.
And why is it so important for you to support Buckified and his mission?
I'm a big advocate in the community, giving back, helping kids, helping our next generation to be successful. And when he reached out to me about coming to be a part of this great event to give this to Katie, I jumped at the chance, and so I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. We've got some Bucks royalty in the house today, and of course, you have to have a Wright's Gourmet celebratory cake there, and so it says congratulations, 2024 Dream Seeker Scholarship recipient Katie Riley. So thank you guys all for being here and for sharing this special moment with our Bloom viewers.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And thank you, and we'll be seeing you real soon on the 13th at the Bucks Bloom Health Expo with the Bucks.
Yes, that's right. And we're going to share this story, and you can read all about digital reporter and producer Brody Waddell's full article on bloomtampabay.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. Welcome back to Bloom. There is a beloved organization in Tampa Bay that touches the lives of hundreds of thousands of families every year, and it depends greatly on volunteers. As we continue to spotlight people who make the world a better place to live and how you can get involved, we're excited to welcome Justine Burke, who's the Vice President of Marketing at Metropolitan Ministries, to Bloom. Justine, it's so great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So it's amazing to me, having just been on the campus with Nexstar Media Group's Founder Day. We all got to go on campus and volunteer. It's amazing to me how many lives you touch.
That was a great day, wasn't it?
It really was.
It was so great to hear the feedback that you all had. And we say this a lot, when people know us for the holiday tent, many of them, but when they come on the campus and they see all the things that we do, they always say, I never knew you did all that. And we do touch hundreds of thousands of people's lives, thanks to the community every year.
And your campus is so incredibly beautiful, and it's such a well-oiled machine because you're making a difference and not just helping people, but you're helping lift them as well.
That's right, and that's a really big, important part of our mission statement. It's alleviate suffering, and then that second piece is promote dignity. And that's part of, it's reflected in everything we do. It's reflected in the look and feel of the campus. It was well thought out by everyone involved to make it a place that It doesn't look like a homeless shelter, does it?
No, not at all. I mean, from the kitchen that we just looked at, and I, worked in the nursery area on the day that we came, it looked like a real little classroom, and there was so much hustle and bustle going on, and so, and then you have a partnering school right there. So, like I said, I mean, the community partnerships are just unbelievable.
We can't execute our mission without collaborative partners, right? Or our donors or our volunteers. We probably have upwards of 85 service collaborative partners that help us do what we do every day, and that does include Hillsborough County Schools, and that school is a K-5 school right across the street, and our kids all go to that school, but it's also open to people in the community.
So what can we do to help support your incredible program? Because I know your job is to create a volunteer experience, which you do a tremendous job of.
Thank you.
What can we do to continue to support you?
Well, just remember that we're there 365 days a year, right? We have opportunities in Tampa on our campus, but we also have a campus up in Pasco County, and we also have pop-up opportunities all over the Bay. So a lot of people think they have to come to Tampa to volunteer, but that's not true. There's probably an opportunity really close by. And your time is very valuable, right? It's probably one of the most valuable things that people have. And we are honored when people come and volunteer. And it is a way to get close to the mission, like you said, and really get behind the scenes and see what it's all about. Because it's just so much going on, like you said. It's so much more than just a place for people to rest their heads. It's a place for people to, like you said, get a hand up and lift them, help them lift up into a better life.
Well, I'm biased. I'm born and raised in Tampa, but when I get to see up close and personal the incredible work that you do and what makes our city so special, it means the world. So thank you so much for including me in such a great day, and I hope to be back soon.
I hope you are too. Thank you for being with us. Thank you.
All right. And if you would like to find out more about Metropolitan Ministries, just head to bloomtampabay.com. There's so many incredible opportunities for you to volunteer. We'll be right back. It's time for today's Bloom Trivia question. Which state boasts the highest rate of volunteer participation? Tennessee, Florida, Minnesota, or Utah? The answer is Utah. Utah is one proud and generous state with the highest formal volunteering rate in the country at just over 40%, followed closely by Wyoming and Minnesota. In fact, Utah is known for its culture of giving back and helping others. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Bloom today. You can catch Bloom anytime by following us on social media. We're on all major platforms, so get a behind-the-scenes look at all of the innovative breakthrough health and wellness conversations and incredible guests that we have right here on Bloom. And don't forget to check out our podcast, The Bloom Health Club. You can catch it live on Facebook and YouTube on Mondays at 2 p.m. We take a deep dive and have extended conversations with some of the top guests that we have right here on Bloom. You can watch our podcast anytime on YouTube or listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Well, we hope you'll tune in again on the next Bloom presented by Lifeguard Imaging. What makes Tampa Bay bloom? Mayor Jane Castor is joining us to share why Tampa is one of the most desirable cities in the United States to live in, and how she's working to make housing more affordable. And WWE wrestling legend Titus O'Neil is sharing the charitable side of Tampa Bay that makes our area one of the most giving places to live. So stay healthy, everyone, and I will see you on the next Bloom.
Content segments during Bloom were paid for by Advent Health.
Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.